I told myself my goal was to have 5,000 followers by the end of March, and I wanted 20,000 followers by the end of the year. I would post every day and keep that consistency. 20, 30, 50 videos, 100 videos. They're never gonna see your video or the thumbnail even if the title's not searchable or relatable to what somebody wants to see. Do something that's gonna make somebody wanna understand, like click that button and see what the hell your video's about. I surprised myself on Instagram and I've got over 20,000 followers by the end of March. So where my goal was 5, I hit 20.
If we look at two different people, someone who's new and then someone who's experienced, what are some things that they need to like really dial in?
Phase 1, like if you're starting off as a brand new agent, hands down out of all the platforms I've done, YouTube is number 1. You want to focus in on that. I started off with 1 video per week and keep that consistency. 2 videos per week to start, to ramp up period. Get yourself to about 20 videos and then you can cut it back to 1 video a week. That is one strategy to get you there quicker. And if you're gonna go that route, especially as a newbie, use that as an experienced agent. I'm only doing 1 video a week. Now, I've layered it in. I've done the podcast, which is a midweek video now. I've now started to get some of that content, and I think we talked off camera, like using it for other things, right? It's a bigger strategy, which does take some planning.
From an experienced agent, someone who's trying to get like an 8% click-through rate, who's trying to generate 50 million in deals every single year. Like what are the few things that like, hey, you should dial these in and that's gonna help set you up?
You know, starting off, like you said, you don't have an audience built. You don't know what they like, what they don't like, what strategies as far as how to shoot the videos, like your hook at the beginning, your retention, like where, you don't know where all that is. Now, once you've got 20, 30, 50 videos, 100 videos under your belt, the next best thing you can do is dial it in. You have to read all your analytics and all your data. So, but number 1, they're never gonna see your video or the thumbnail even if the title's not searchable or relatable to what somebody wants to see. So number 1, your title's gonna put it out there. It's gonna give you the reach. Number 2, now that YouTube's put your video amongst 20 other videos on somebody's homepage or suggested, does the thumbnail, is it catchy enough? Does it stick out enough amongst the sea of other thumbnails to be able to get somebody to click on it? Once they click on it, did you deliver on your video to keep them around? So a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this too, like if I were to say top 10 things you need to know before moving to Tampa, I'm guilty of putting 10 things to know on the thumbnail, right? That's a simple one and like kind of pointing to it. If you can answer your question, or if you can answer the video, like what it is, right? Like here are 10 things to know, maybe throw 3 of them in there. Or you could go the route of building curiosity or tapping into fear. Like I couldn't believe this. And then telling that story with a picture. Like do something that's gonna make somebody wanna understand, like click that button and see what the hell your video's about.
You moved into Instagram because you've grown really fast on Instagram.
Yeah.
So what have you found worked? Why does that work? And kind of just look at that as a content strategy.
So I went into Instagram with a very, like not very different, but a kind of a different strategy than YouTube because it is a different platform. It's flashier, it's quicker. It's almost like leave it at a hook because you only have 30 seconds or a minute to be able to deliver your message. You know, I think your average realtor, if you were to say, what's a realtor look like on Instagram right now? It's home tours, it's standing next to a flashy car in front of a flashy house and or saying like, we sold this. I mean, I'm not gonna say that doesn't work, but I just took a different approach, again, being a value of my city. And I started covering things that I wouldn't cover on my YouTube, like hidden gems of Tampa, you know, top beach bars or beach restaurants. And again, selling the vibe though, staying within the brand, which is Tampa, you know, Florida living and what it's like living in Tampa. I'd still mix in development articles that was like, hey, breaking news on this new development in the area. I would talk about, you know, the Tampa Bay Rays are looking to get a new stadium or USF College got a new stadium. Then I started jumping into real estate. Like what can you find under 500,000 and showing something like that. So I'm still mixing in real estate content. I'm just not overloading it. My goal going into Instagram, I told myself in November 2023, I didn't know what a story was. I studied it though. Took me 3 months before I ever launched my first one. I would post every day and I started around Christmas 2023. Here we are in April. My goal was to have 5,000 followers organically by the end of March and I wanted 20,000 followers on Instagram by the end of the year. Well, I surprised myself on Instagram and I've got over 20,000 followers by the end of March. So where my goal was 5, I hit 20. My goal is to keep learning and being better on Instagram and evolving, because I know I can do better on Instagram. I want to be more value. What I found very interesting on Instagram is the exposure it gets you locally. So YouTube is like direct to the consumer, where I think Instagram gets a bigger local exposure in a way. And so I'm getting DMs from people, which is something you don't get on YouTube. I'm getting like the Cross Bay Ferry, which is a ferry that goes Tampa to St. Pete downtown. They're like, I'll give you round trip tickets. Can you figure out a way to put this in your content? Absolutely. Now I'm going to put that in my YouTube video and repurpose it in Instagram. You know, I'm getting things like that now that again just helps me as a creator put out better stuff and do more.